Good morning or good afternoon from any part of the world. My name is Tony HP, and I welcome you today to the new video in terms of the series called My Life with Asperger's. This is part 3, and today I'm going to continue my story. I left it off the last time talking about, I talked about my experience from middle school all the way to high school so far, the challenges that I went through. And today I'm going to talk about, continue with my story. And as I said, thank you very much for watching today. I left it off in my, this is like my last year of high school. I have the challenges that I was facing with, the challenges that I faced throughout my life, and new challenges that I was facing during that time period. And it was between 11th and 12th grade, nothing much changed. I was going through the same challenges. There was this situation in which I like to look, that the other students were forcing me to like this girl, and they were accusing me of different things, like being homosexual or any homophobic insults, and any other types of insults. And this is one of the challenges that I faced, that I went through during my school life, during my early life, and this is one of the challenges that I struggle with talking about to this day. But one of the reasons why I didn't have a girlfriend back then was because some of the negative, things from my elementary school, or not being with girls or being with a boys club, but also I didn't have any girlfriend back then was because of the challenges that I was going through. I didn't want to have a partner or a girlfriend to go through the same troubles that I went through. In other words, I didn't want to embarrass a girl, embarrass a girlfriend. To be simple as that. But since I didn't have anybody, I was by myself. There was a joke mode. In other words, they were bullying me to a point that it was unsustainable. But for some reason, what came out of that bullying, strangely, and I still don't understand to this day, is that I liked this girl. I began to like this girl. She was like a girl that had everything that was, if I were to look for a girlfriend, this is it. But it wasn't a pleasant experience. I was confused. I didn't know what I was doing. There were times where I wrote poems to get her attention, but for some reason I was wondering why I liked this girl, and I was very confused. But at the same time, I was going to not embarrass my partner, potential partner, and all the embarrassments and troubles and challenges that I was going through. So overall, it lasted for a couple of years. People were pressuring me to do something in joke mode. Other people were telling me to do something for real. I thought it was always a joke. During that time period, I always thought that was a joke mode. It was nothing serious, and I still hold that belief into this day. One part of me, another part of me said I should have done something, but the reasons I didn't, I was going away was because I didn't want to embarrass the girl. Simple as that. And that's one of the things that still haunt me to this very, very day, and which I'm going to talk about later on. But overall, during those 2 years, that was bullshit. With that, I also didn't know where I was going. I was going through severe depression, and in my 12th, when I got to senior year, there's this thing that I watch, that I read the book and I watched, which I never heard before, which was The Secret. And when I was introduced to The Secret in that last year of high school, I was like, man, so that means I can get everything that I wanted to do. I can accomplish my dreams. And I have big dreams. I wanted to have a lot of money, travel the entire world, be able to do my Star Wars collection. I was like, man, but if you think about it, believe in it, then it can come true. The law of attraction. But back then, I was thinking that perhaps if I was only thinking about it and took a little bit of action, then it was going to come true. And that led to my new depression. I failed in that area. But I was not very conscious. I was not even too mature to be able to deal with that, and thinking that I can get everything that I wanted only by thinking about it, not taking too much action. Then I went to reality check and I fell into depression again because I was trying to use the law of attraction, what I learned from The Secret, to get what I wanted to. I was strangely, I wanted to use The Secret to get the girl that I wanted because I still like her, even though what happened in the past. Be able to get a lot of money, travel the entire world, and do whatever I wanted to do. And at the end, a couple of months later, that was like in August, like in around November, then I completely fell in depression again because I failed the SAT, and I wanted to go to the States. I didn't want to go to college where I was living. I wanted to go to the United States to be able to do my studies, my college studies, and that completely fell flat. So I went to a new depression mode. That was around November 2008. I was completely depression mode, and I felt everything in life. I went to a deep, deep depression. And that was a very, very very tough period of time. Problems with my household. My dad got married again. I didn't get along with the other people that he brought to the house. You can call it step siblings and all that kind of stuff. It was a very, very bad environment. My brother was leaving. Was going to leave and go with my mom. My sister, she went to Europe, went to London, went to Europe to continue her studies. I was by myself again. This time I didn't have hardly anybody, so it was a very tough period of time. And once again, thinking about my suicide thoughts and all that kind of stuff. And it got to a point I was so depressed. We're talking about late 2008, early 2009. And in early 2009, I was thinking about, that's what I really thought for the first time, the keyword purpose. What I came here to do. That was the first time that I really thought about what I came here to do. And I began a search of finding that answer. What is the purpose of my life? I tried out with The Secret, didn't work out. And then it was so depressed, so bad during that period of time, that I read this book called the Purpose Life, the Life's Purpose. I think it was by Rick Warren. I talked about was a religious book, and because of that book, I got to religion to be able to find the answer to my question, to my problem. And I went back to church. I went to the Catholic Church again to go to Mass. I don't know if I mentioned in the last couple of videos, but my relationship with the religion has been very strange. I got baptized, but it was like a long years I didn't went to church. Until I went to private school, to Catholic school, and then I went to Mass. I was confused. I was going through a tough period of time. I didn't understand what was about, what was a Mass, what was the first communion or confirmation, all that kind of stuff. But overall, was able to do my first communion. I was going to do my confirmation at age 19. That was 2009. But then other people came in from other churches saying to go to this church, we have the answer. And I went to different churches finally to find my home, finally to find my companionship, my fellowship, to find in God the answer towards fulfilling your purpose. And I went to different churches and it didn't work out. I was confused. I started reading the Bible that year, and I got to a point in which I was very confused. I thought I have a relationship with God, but I didn't. I was very confused. I didn't know what all of this had to do with finding my purpose. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I got into religion that year, 2009. I graduated from high school. There were periods of times in which I was trying to kill myself because the situations I went in my household. It was very, very bad. I was bullied emotionally, physically, emotionally in that time period in my own household. Just imagine that. And then I went to college. During that time period, I met a pastor. Just imagine a pastor, a land server, but he was also a pastor. So I was in the apprenticeship. I thought I was going to do land surveying, wanted to go into engineering, go to an area to make more money. Forget about other areas, go to that area to make more money. That was the idea back then when I was going to college for the first time. So overall, I went to land surveying and engineering, in other words, and I was failing miserably that year. I was going through religion, trying to find the answer. Nothing was coming up. One the problems in the household. I was trying to make friends in that first year. I was able to make one or two, but it was through the religion area. And overall, it was that was one of the worst years of my life. Not 2009. I have bad years, but that was perhaps one of the worst year of my life. And I went through many of these challenges. So I thank you for if you understand, please let me know in a comment. Trying to make it understand. Overall, I went through all those challenges in 2009, my first year ending high school and my first year in college. And I went through the same boat, the same BS going to next year. Depression, going to religion, going to different churches, and I even had, this is insane. I even had to go to the same church as my step sibling was going. The reason I was going because I was perhaps have a better relationship, but that didn't work out either. That's the reason why I left that church, because I didn't count on my step sibling. In addition of being confused with religion, my older, the step sibling was one with my same age. So I got to a point in which I was in the low points of my life in 2010. This is 2010 now. Nothing has changed. It was still the same bullshit. But here, something also in from 2008, 2009, 2008, from 2008 to 2010. I also got to conspiracy theories, thinking about the end of the world. That was my first time going to conspiracy theories. I was introduced to this documentary called Zeitgeist, and then I got to conspiracy, world government, all that kind of crap in conspiracy theories, thinking about it, but I didn't went too deep into it until years later, which I'm going to talk about later on. Overall, all these things were going on in my life, all those things, and then we go back to the summer 2010, and in my next video, this is my experience from high school all the way to my college so far. In the next video, I'm going to talk about continuing my college experience, and I'm going to talk about the period in which I think I was going back to the secret. My reality, this was the journey that began my personal, my personal development career. No, not career, but personal development journey in the summer of 2010. So I'm going to talk about more. I'm going to continue my story in the next video, talking about that. So if you guys have any questions, girls, guys, gals, have any questions, any concerns, anything that you want to be clear up in terms of what I said today, my apologies. I'm trying to be as clear as possible. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment right down below. And until then, this is Tony HP, and I'll see you around. See you.